I'd like to share a very deep and inspiring idea about Hanukkah. Every single day of Hanukkah, we say in Al Nisim, Lahashkicham Torasecha, that the Greeks tried to make us forget the Torah. Now, very interestingly, there's also a midrash that says, Hechshichu esanechem, that the Greeks tried to darken our eyes. If you look very closely, you notice a very similar shorash of Lahashkicham and Hechshichu. So what's the connection between the Greeks trying to darken our eyes and the Greeks trying to make us forget the Torah? Let's try to develop this idea. Rav Hutner explains that the Gullus of the Greeks was a very different Gullus than all of our previous exiles. When it comes to the Gullus of Bavel, there was no cultural assimilation. The Jews stayed very strong to their Avodas Hashem. When it comes to the Gullus of Persia, there was also no assimilation. There was a problem of being too friendly, but not ideologically. There was no philosophical problem, philosophical battle. When it comes to the Greek Gullus, the Jews were becoming Greek. It was a battle of the ideology. It was a battle of the Jewish mind and spirit. This is where the battle of life was taking place. And nowadays, Western culture is Greek culture. The Greek thought and ideology was a focus on the physical, the exterior beauty, physical pleasure, entertainment, intellect for its own sake, disconnecting the physical world from the spiritual world. So what is darkness? What were the Greeks trying to darken our eyes from? True darkness, the spiritual concept of darkness, is the emptiness of the self. Because what is our fear of darkness? The fear of darkness is the fear of being alone. Think about it. We don't really have nighttime. We don't really have darkness because we have lights everywhere. New York City is referred to as the city that never sleeps. But in genuine darkness, you are truly alone. It is the scariest thing in the world because our perception of the world generally comes from the external stimulus of sight. We see the world around us, but in genuine darkness, your eyes are open, but you see nothing. You no longer exist in relationship to anything outside of yourself. And that can be the scariest thing in the world. If you've ever been to a desert or some unpopulated area at nighttime, you've experienced true darkness. Your hand's right in front of your face and you can't see it. Now, what is so scary about that? What's so scary about that is that if you truly have nothing outside to stimulate you, all you have is who you are. And if you haven't built a deep inner world, a deep awareness, a deep inner consciousness, then you're empty. And that's why so many people, they hate themselves. They hate being alone with themselves, with their thoughts, with who they are. They hate genuine darkness. There's a study that was done where people were given an option to be in a room by themselves, and they would be paid $10 extra if they were shocked. And everyone said, no, I don't want to be shocked. They just stood in the room. But they were there for a couple minutes, and after a couple minutes, almost every single person went to the side and shocked themselves. Painful shock. Why? Because they would rather go over and shock themselves than sit in a room all alone with their thoughts. Only the brave are willing to actually confront who they are and work on themselves. Everyone else would rather just numb the pain of who they really are and just escape that genuine experience of self. That's why spiritual people don't fear being alone. They actually enjoy it. They love it because this spiritually developed person experiences everything he's built, his rich inner world. That's why one of the stages of Olam Haba is being alone. And that can be the biggest enjoyment, the ecstasy of enjoying everything you've built, your inner world, your inner consciousness, everything you've accomplished and developed through your life, or it could be the most painful experience of emptiness. Now, what did the Greeks try to do? The Greeks tried to create a light outside, where everything outside seems great, but they tried to create a genuine darkness within, to create an internal emptiness through an external escape. That's why the Maharal explains that the second pasuk in the Torah refers to the four kingdoms, the four different kingdoms of exiles. And Choshech refers to the Greeks, because the Greeks darkened our eyes. It's a culture of entertainment. That was the dominant mode for the masses. It's just escaping life. It's like a mashal. Imagine you have a red light in your car that's telling you that the oil needs to be changed. And it keeps annoying you because you know something has to change. So what do? You cover it up with tape or you unplug the light. You're not solving the problem, you're escaping the problem. And the irony is, by doing so, the problem continues to get worse. The car continues to get more damaged because you're not listening to the signals. How many people do you know who spend their whole life without creating themselves, without thinking, without listening to the signals of the self telling them that you're not here to just survive or just to exist, but you're here to grow, you're here to become, you're here to develop yourself, to learn, to contribute your life to something bigger than yourself. Stop putting band-aids over your bruises. Stop hiding what really needs to be focused on. And that's what Torah is. Torah is or, light. Torah, ora, light, oraisa. It's the guidebook of existence. It's why we're here. It's who we're supposed to be. And the Greeks tried to block that light, to cloud that clarity. That's what hechshichu es einechem, to darken our eyes, and lehashkicham es torasecha, to make us forget the light, to make us forget who we are. Because hechshichu es einechem is lehashkicham torasecha. When you darken, when you block something, you cloud that clarity, that makes you forget. Your memories are very clear, but what you forget becomes darkened. You lose access. It becomes all just foggy. You don't really know what it is that you're supposed to remember. And our job in this world is to create that light within the darkness. It's the middle of December. It's the darkest time of the year, and we need to light our Hanukkah candles. We need to create that light in the darkness, and we need to ask ourselves, what light am I bringing into the world? Am I forgetting the Torah, or am I embracing it? Are my eyes darkened, or am I creating that inner light? Am I becoming drowned within secular culture? Or am I swimming in the waters of Torah? Yavan literally comes from the root of quicksand. And Yavan, if you look at it closely, Yud, Vav, Nun, it's a small line of Yud, a longer line of Vav, and a longest line of Nun. Literally what the Greeks are, what Western culture is, it's quicksand. You get stuck in it. But our goal is not to get stuck within that, but it's to create that light, to become the people we were meant to become. And it's hard. We live in a very difficult time, but it's an opportunity to grow through the challenges. And this Hanukkah, let's create that light within the darkness. Let's become the people we were meant to become. Let's make sure we don't forget who we really are.